Back on. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of a Zoo. I am your host, Johnny Hellcat, and
Hello,
with
ladies
me
and
today,
gentlemen. Welcome to Minions of a Zoo.
I have Travis Gardner.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi.
I have Travis Gardner. And I have backing audio that I don't know where it's coming from, and I found it. Okay. Yeah. So, how are you doing today, Travis?
Well, not terribly bad. My allergies have made me sick all evening, but just had an overwhelming amount of dumb at work today.
So, a Thursday
Oh yeah. Or Tuesday.
or Tuesday, or a day that ends in a Y.
And it just felt like nobody. Like I had two customers today. One of them, refrigerator stopped working, completely dead, no lights, no nothing. So I go over there and I'm looking at it and like, did you check the breaker? No. So I go outside and I flipped them, found that the kitchen breakers were off. So turned them back on. His fridge was working.
As it would. That's usually the first thing they have you check.
And he's like, "Oh, I probably should have checked that." And I'm like, "Yeah, you should have. That'll be $119." And I had another one. It's like they had a LG refrigerator and the water dispenser was just trickling, just a little trickle. And it's like it takes forever to fill a cup. Have you tried changing the filter? Yeah, the water filter. I didn't know I had one. How long have you had this fridge? Well, I've had it about 5 years.
Ooh. Yeah, you can get a bypass for those, but some of the brands have a bypass.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is that LG actually has the bypass built into the fridge.
Oh, do they now?
Yeah, when you take the filter out of the new ones, it automatically bypasses it, and you run it without a filter.
Oh, so it's optional then. That's pretty nice.
That way you can run it on an RO system without interfering with the water pressure.
Yeah. Because that'll definitely fuck with your water pressure there. Especially if you don't have anything in the filter. Yeah, when all the charcoal's out of the filter, you need a new one.
It's like, well, this thing is probably nasty inside.
Yeah, our refrigerator's been peeing all over the place, so it's we're thinking we need to replace a couple hoses.
Oh.
Because the water, like when it runs into the to the ice machine, we're thinking that worst case scenario or best case scenario, we just need to replace the water line. Worst case scenario, there's a break in the ice machine somewhere.
What brand is it?
It's Whirlpool.
Oh, okay. That probably won't be hard.
No, it's an easy fix. It's just a matter of getting to it.
It's like I was afraid you're going to say it's like Samsung or Bosch, and I'm like,
There would be no way in hell I would get a Samsung. As much as I like my phone, that's where my Samsung loyalty ends. Like, good with electronics, not so much with the appliances.
I have no idea why It still mystifies me. Somebody walks into an appliance store and looks at everything and like, Samsung, they made my phone. It's not like I'm going to go into a phone store and think, I wonder if they have a Maytag phone.
I wouldn't trust a Maytag phone. Like, no, that wouldn't be a thing.
I mean,
stick to what you know. Keep the dryers going.
But Whirlpool, they made some. They have a KitchenAid model refrigerator. It's got 5 different control boards in it.
There's one that I saw. It had a control panel in the door, and it had wood paneling in it. It was a very nice refrigerator. I'm not gonna lie. I think it was a KitchenAid actually. The same thing, but this thing was about $4,200 the last time I remember looking at the sign. And I had almost sold one of them because it was counter depth. And of course with counter depth you get, the price jumps up a little bit. And like we were talking about this and he goes, this just isn't as pricey for me. And I looked at him and I go, the fuck do you say? Like, I was so close to just being like, I never want to hear those words out of your mouth ever again. This is not pricey for you? Like, I would have to work 3 jobs for 2 months to afford that refrigerator.
Oh, there's no way I would buy that. There's no way.
Like, as fancy as it looked, I mean, it's a nice refrigerator, but I'm much more simple with my needs in an appliance.
You know that joke about the tech person? It's like tech enthusiasts have to have the highest in everything. Tech worker.
Yeah.
They keep a gun next to the printer just in case it makes a noise. I'm like that with appliances. I have a Samsung front load washer and dryer. I did not buy it. It's not my fault I have it.
Yeah.
And I'm just dreading the day it finally just quit.
I remember when I moved into my apartment before I met my wife, I didn't pay attention to appliances at all. To be honest, it was there and it was free, so therefore it is mine. So it's like, okay, whatever. And then I remember, like, I'd say a month after we started there, I started paying attention as to what brand was around. And I looked at my microwave and it was a Samsung microwave, and I'm just like, you poor son of a bitch. But we've had that one forever. Like, we've had that one quite a while.
I mean, it's kind of hard to fuck up a microwave.
That's true.
Bosch figured it out, but...
Well, I mean, leave it up to the Germans.
This is why you lost the war.
Wars and appliances, it's about the same.
Oh, I hate working on European appliances. Fisher & Paykel's not European, but it may as well be because it feels like it.
I remember there was a washer and dryer set that Bosch had. It was a smaller set. So people are like, oh, that'd be convenient. Like, how much is this? And they're like, $950. Yeah, no, I don't think so. Like, because it's only like, I think the washer was like maybe 2.6, 2.7 cubic foot. and the dryer is like $4. And yet these things are, $950, almost $1,000 for one. And he's just like, do you even sell any of these? I'm like, people don't even look at these. Like, they look at these to compare to the other price and be like, I would much rather have this thing that is half the price of that and probably works 3 times as hard.
Yeah. I see them all the time. I look at it and I'm like, why the fuck did you buy this? They just see did they just see you coming in and think, oh, I'm going to unload this inventory on this person?
Yeah. And it's so funny when people are like, so what do you hear about this? I'm like, some people like it, some people don't. Well, that doesn't tell me much. I'm like, doesn't tell me much anything either. I can tell you, as many as I've seen go out, I haven't seen many return. And he goes, but you've seen them return? And I go, yes, I have. He goes, that's enough for me. Let's move on to the next one. And the lady there who was the Samsung rep, she's like, oh, that's a great fridge. And I'm just like, and yet we've had like 5 come back in the last, 4 months. Like, I'd be remiss to kind of give them that information. I mean, granted, they don't like it when we tell them that, but when it's right behind me in the return section of the stuff that we're reselling after it's been repaired, yeah, that's come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. People ask that. It's like, oh, well, what's the best? Like, man, they all break.
With a cluck 16 there, 6. How's it going, man?
Howdy. They had like, it's like, which ones do you see the least of? It's like, oh, well, I'm not going to tell you that one because it's going to be misleading, but I want to tell you the ones that if they break, they're cheap to fix.
Yeah, my wife, she had, we had an LG front load for a while, and then it kind of sounded like the bearings were going out. And so then we got, I don't know what brand it is now. But this one, it kind of, it goes in and out between what the bearings are doing. So like sometimes it'll sound like the bearings are grinding, and then it goes back to normal. And I'm like, ride her till she dies. Let's do this. Like,
Yeah.
and my ex, actually, she had an LG top load, and the door broke. And when they got a repair guy out there, because she had the warranty for it, repair guy comes out and he goes, yeah, we can, get this done for $490. And she goes, I'm just going to get a new one. I can get a new one, a GE, $492. So you can take your door and cram it up your ass.
Oh, I hate doing that repair. It's like, yeah, I broke the door on it. Whirlpool, Maytag, and LG top loads. Those doors break, those lids break.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate getting called on them because all I'm going to do is just get somebody really pissed off at me when I tell them how much it's going to be.
Yeah, I asked her, I'm like, why didn't you just buy it and then see if we could do it? I'm like, it's going to be cheaper in the long run. And she goes, it's a $490 door. I'm not buying a new one. I'm like, okay, it's fair enough. It would be one thing if it was just a cheaper, metal door like Whirlpool or GE have. You know, like
Yeah.
maybe a $75 part versus a $500 part.
Those that glass lid, I hated those because people can look in and see what's going on,
Yeah.
and they panic because like, oh, it doesn't have enough water. It's not actually. Just stop watching your fucking machine.
KitchenAid, was it KitchenAid or Maytag? They had one a dishwasher with the window,
Oh, KitchenAid.
and they're like, oh, that's such a neat thing, and I'm like, yeah, until that seal breaks.
Yeah.
And he goes, have you ever heard of that happening? And I go, honestly, I've never sold one of these before, but that is the number one fear that I have when I look at this kind of thing. And he goes, that's a good point. I'm like, it's a neat feature. Don't get me wrong. And I don't know enough about these machines to know if and when that seal is strong. I would guess, being that it is KitchenAid, that they put at least a little bit of effort into their system so that it's not going to immediately, rot off and, leak within 15 seconds. But what you don't know, I just...
I've never seen one leak, but I've seen them get gooey, like where they like accumulate junk goo inside of them.
Well, in that interior area between the glass panels, yeah, that's where that's going to accumulate.
Yeah, and it's nasty, and you don't want to see it, and you don't want to know how much I'm going to charge you to clean it out because
you
make
don't.
Bad decisions. Oh, it's like oven doors. People will spill shit down inside the oven door.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, how much to clean that out? And I'm like, well, I look at it and I'm like, sometimes it's like, you know what, I just do it like just normal like service fee. But then there's like, some people do it like to Bosch or Electrolux, and I'm like, that's $240 an hour.
Yeah.
And they tear me down, and I'm like,
Isn't that a bit much?
Take that door apart, take it apart, and then tell me how I'm overcharging.
Yeah.
No, even better, put it back together again, because taking it apart's easy.
That is true.
I think we killed off the audience.
No, we have two. We're going against two live streams.
Oh yeah, Monkey. Damn it.
Monkey's going and Eve's going.
Oh, Eve too. Oh, the Monkey's like trying to do like a 2 show a day format. So he has like a morning, a monkey in the morning, and then a monkey in the morning and the evening.
Or he could call it Midnight Monkey.
Yeah, I was thinking Monkey at Midnight or Midnight Monkey or like something like that. Oh, Adonis Paul.
Yeah. AP's always he's always drawn a crowd. So.
Oh yeah. I didn't watch him up until like a few months ago. It's like he like was a guest on Monkey, and I'm like, this guy's fucking hilarious. And I started watching his shows, like, it is. But like, what else? I can understand when it's like, oh well, you can listen to Travis drone on about appliances.
Oh, I could talk hours.
Oh. Well, if Camel was here, we'd be talking about weather. I mean.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Sanguine. I could pull up the Wikipedia thing for whiskey, and we can try to do a Sanguine impression.
I could see if Quiz would want to jump in.
Who?
Quiz?
No. No, like I'm fine talking about appliances all day. They're awful. All of them are awful.
That is very true. Well, especially anymore. Like, all this stuff is made to break. It's you buy it until it breaks, and if you can't repair it yourself, just get a new one.
Yeah, I'm screwing cheap plastic into cheap plastic.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
I had to do I had 2 refrigerator compressor changes. The Frigidaire Professional, you know that it's the all refrigerator and all freezer. It's like
Oh,
the refrigerator,
yeah, the optional, yeah.
and you can like you could buy like a frame and it looks like it's built in, but it's just 2 separate things that are just bolted together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the refrigerator compartments on those, the refrigerator ones, they fail. And it's quite dramatic because what happens is they get a little piece of insulation that covers the tubing going down to the compressor, and it sucks water.
Huh.
Water sits on it and it corrodes, and all of a sudden you have a refrigerant leak.
So it's better just to use it as a freezer.
Yeah, because as a freezer, that water freezes and it doesn't travel. It doesn't condense and sit. It's actually frozen on there and then gets onto the coil and then melted off when it goes into defrost. It doesn't just condense onto the coil and then trickle down into that insulation.
Yeah. The 4-door ones are they're always kind of like, I can see why they would have them, but it's so much of a gimmick that I just can't.
Well, I'm kind of glad that like the smart fridge is trying to die off.
That should have never been a thing.
I don't see why anybody would want one. And every one of them I've encountered, like out in the field, the people have basically gotten like bored or fed up with the smart fridge part of it in like 6 months, and it's not they haven't done anything with it.
Like, I could see like maybe using the tablet part. Like, the major drawback to those is the fact that is the control panel. And once that goes, the whole thing's fucking gone.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, you might as well just tape a tablet to your refrigerator door and just call it good.
Well, just like get like a cheap tablet from Amazon and glue some magnets to the back of it, and you have the same thing.
Yep.
And
with better speakers.
I think what people think is it's like, oh, well, it's a Samsung fridge, so it's like a Samsung tablet. That thing is probably just that. I really doubt that it's cheap. Well, it's cheaply made. That part's like $600 my cost to replace.
Yeah.
I get to use the really big suction cups.
Hey, Quiz.
Oh,
You've joined us for appliance talk. And you are muted. And there he goes. But yeah, 6, I definitely agree. Fridges should just fridge.
I got a
Dramatic pause.
I have a.
Did we hear you? Oh, I think I heard you.
Hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Oh, okay.
How's it going, Quiz?
Trying to get fucking. What's going on? Trying to get StreamYard to work on the phone is like pulling teeth.
Oh, yeah. Quiz, have you met Travis before?
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
Hi.
well. Travis, Quiz, Travis.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good so far. We're over here boring our audience with appliance repair talk.
Wait, I'm sorry, with what?
With appliance repair talk.
Oh!
Yeah,
Well, everyone's got to fix a refrigerator every now and then.
well, it's really funny because I used to sell appliances and he repairs them.
Yeah.
Oh. I had a buddy that moved up north that used to do appliance repair. I was thinking about getting into the job as well, but it was a lot of hoops to jump through, and another place already contacted me first, so I went with that.
Yeah.
I just pulled the old boomer thing of I walked into a place and asked them if they were hiring.
Yeah.
And then
It was
threatened
like-
him with a hammer.
Oh, that was like 3 jobs ago. No, I started in 2005 when I started doing appliance repair. I did appliances. I did repair. I did delivery. We did TVs too, and home theater, and it was like, those really like the period TV shows where they have like it's like the 50s or 60s, and they have the TV store of all the TVs in the window, and people are standing outside watching something go on the TV.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it started. I worked in a place that actually did that. They actually had the TVs in the window showing live TV. It was downtown. So
I tried getting a job as a TV salesman. Right? Well, mainly like it was an electronics store that focused mainly on like TVs and entertainment centers and stuff like that. And I think I applied to this place like 5 or 6 times and just struck out every time.
Well, that's okay. Best Buy took all their business anyway.
We never had a Best Buy in our area, so our nearest Best Buy was a 2-hour drive away.
Best Buy did not hire me because I didn't have the proper experience. And I really was like, you know what? I don't want to work for you anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how you apply for a job and they're like, well, you don't have enough experience. Well, how am I going to get experience when you're the only outfit in town that does this kind of thing? Like,
Yeah, right.
that's why I kind of hate nepotism, but by golly, it works for it though.
Yeah. I would say it was funny. I applied for forklift jobs, when I was just out of high school, because forklift jobs, they pay really nice. But every single place wanted to have experience, and no one was entry level. And so, like, how the hell do I get experience if no one will hire me to get the fucking experience?
There's a position that I'm trying to go for at the company I work now, and looking at the qualifications that are required, quote unquote required, and I'm like, I don't have that, I don't have that, I don't have that. I sure as hell don't have a bachelor's degree in education. And I'm like, okay, and there are 2 people who I had worked with in like training positions. They're like, you would be perfect for this job. So if you apply for something like that, let us know. We will get you in. And I'm just like, yes. Yeah. Okay. but that's also, it's not something that they're just gonna throw me in because it's me. That's because I'm actually showing a fortitude for it. They're just not. I didn't schmooze my way in.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, you did,
it's a
but
light schmoozing.
You schmoozed your way in with hard work and dedication.
I mean, part of me, there's a part of me that says, like, start, fudge some on those, on that resume. See, it just, like, it's like, well, I don't really have this or this or this, but, well, how far can you bend that truth?
Well, yeah, a resume is just a documented confidence scheme.
I mean, okay, it's not morally right to do it, but it's not like you're doing something like, oh, I'm lying to become a doctor.
Yes, I wonder who had done something like that. Travis.
Oh, I was trying to get into med school.
Put it this way, you're talking about a resume as a confidence document. You know what? So is a degree.
That's true.
I've got a BFA and I'm just driving a forklift.
Yeah, I got a bachelor's in geography. I almost said geology. It do appliance repairs.
Yeah, my sister got a master's degree in telecommunications, and then she went and ran a daycare. And now
college is a scam.
Yeah, now she works for the government and makes like buku bucks.
Ooh. Yeah, in my opinion, 99.9% of college is a scam.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Well, to me, it's just become
unless it's a trade college.
It's a
sure.
It's a gatekeeping thing. It's like, well, yeah, this job probably wouldn't need a degree, but we want to keep the riffraff out, so we're going to set a requirement.
Well, the big thing that I've been told by a lot of recruiters for stuff like that is that it quote shows commitment. I can show commitment without going $16,000 into debt. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, no. Does it show commitment or does it show sunk cost fallacy?
Yeah, right.
I am committed to making myself broke, so I definitely have to keep working this job so that I can pay that shit off someday before I retire.
Well, like one of the jobs that my ex-wife used to work at a software company. And they had coders, they had developers, and then of course they had team leads. But here's the weird thing about them: to lead the developers, the coders, and all them, you had to have a degree, a bachelor's degree. It did not have to be anything that had to do with computer science.
Sounds about right. You got like business degrees or like, other sorts of stuff like that is what is required for managers. And everyone else is like, yeah, we don't care. We're going to be paying them peanuts anyway.
So, but she was well overqualified for her position, so. Mm-hmm. But she's like, yeah, there's people that are trying to solve problems that don't know exactly what the problem is, and the people that are having the problems can't communicate back and forth because they don't know what each other's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that sounds about like every job out there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much.
Like, well, my boss, the owner of the company, never worked on appliances. He was an electrical engineer.
And
People,
I can see where that would go.
yeah. But there's some stuff that I'll bring up to him, and he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then there's some stuff that he'll bring up to me, and it's like, why do I care? It was like one of the things that like he would talk about is like he always would ask, what was the root cause of this failure? Samsung.
The Koreans.
The root cause of this failure is that it's made by people that don't give a shit about appliances and used by people that don't know what the fuck they're doing. So, I mean, there's your root cause right there.
Well, like half of these appliances are made to make other people jealous. It's there to stoke that. So it's like a combative item rather than it's a status item. You know, like, oh yeah, you may have that TV, but mine, has a tablet attached to it and plays music, and I can look and see what's in my refrigerator without even, being anywhere near my house. And it's like, and?
Oh yeah. There's now look. There are things that you buy. I mean, everybody can kind of fall into it. It's like, yeah, I kind of want that for. I kind of want to see people see me with it. I think everybody kind of has something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
But nobody ever judges another person on their washing machine. Unless they're me.
Well, then it's not the fact that they have a washing machine, it's which brand.
You just walk by and you're like, Frigidaire. Degenerate.
Well, that's a brave choice.
I'll say this. We are living in the cyberpunk dystopian future.
Yeah.
And it's not better exemplified by the fact that my local Walgreens, if you walk up to like the drink cooler section, right, you can't see inside of it. The front door is not glass. It's a TV, and it plays an ad that goes across all of the TVs that make up the whole drink section. But if you walk up next to one of the doors, a camera will notice that you're there and immediately switch it over to the contents of that specific door's cooler. So you could then open up and know exactly where an item is, what it is, and how much it is without ever opening the door, right? Couple that advanced technology and go up to the register and you see a small Coca-Cola mini fridge, and the fluorescent light in it is going out and constantly flickering.
Yeah.
Both of these things exist simultaneously in the same space. We already live in the cyberpunk dystopian future, my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I can, yeah. I can see it.
Like, there was like, you run into that a lot. Like, not just that, but like cars. It's like, oh well, we have like my ex-father-in-law has this the Toyota Crown, which is their hybrid. It's a fancy Prius. It's all it is, and it has all sorts of just ridiculous stuff in it. But it still has a warning on the cap not to put diesel in
it. Well, you need that with some of the people these days. I saw this one video, it's hilarious, of a woman with a Tesla in a gas station trying to find where to put the gas.
Oh, yes.
I remember that video. That was classic.
Oh, I got there's a Cybertruck in town. Somebody in my city has bought a Cybertruck.
Someone in your city has
money
to buy a Cybertruck?
Did they already send it back for the recall?
I don't know, but he was having trouble trying to get it into the middle school pickup lane.
Oh God.
I was gonna say because they had a recall because the gas pedal on it, ironic gas pedal on an electric car, the accelerator pedal. There you go. If you like go all the way to the floor, it will become stuck in the molding.
Oh, neat.
Oh.
Which is why it got recalled. Every single Cybertruck that has ever been produced has already been recalled.
Who guns their Cybertruck though? Like that.
I mean, yeah. Have you seen the one picture the one video of the one dude that rented a Tesla and made a jump over a hill in San Francisco and fucking totaled the thing?
Yes, I have. It's amazing.
Yeah, he jumps like a good 7 feet, like careens off the road and smashes into some poor dude's car that's just parked on the side of the road, and then they get out and flee. It's like, what are you running from? You rented the car. They know where you live.
Oh.
You were asking, it's like, who would floor Cybertruck? And I'm like, honestly, the people that buy Cybertruck seem like the type of people that would immediately.
Yeah, I would floor it. Yeah, try to test it. Yeah.
All right.
Because they've got the money to burn.
Let's show this. Let's see. I'm
just surprised it didn't fucking explode that Tesla in that video. Because I mean, Teslas burn, and they burn for a long time because the batteries that they build in them are lithium and hydrogen.
Yeah. And
hydrogen will just burn and burn. You're basically living. You've got a gigantic bomb under your seat.
Yeah, that was true.
Yep, it's this one.
Hey, Sanguine.
I think they said that they cracked the axle on initial landing, which is why they lost control. I mean, they're going fucking nose over ass at that point. Look at that. It's like,
Yep.
It's like almost a head-on collision when they come back down onto the road.
Someone's hill hopping.
It's that one viral video of the dude making that massive jump with the Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, bad idea to do that, especially with a Tesla. It's a bad idea with any vehicle, but especially with the Tesla. And it's something that a
Those
lot
things
of
are
people...
probably so front heavy.
Well, that's not so much the issue. The major thing is your car only carries... If you're driving a gas vehicle, your car only carries half the energy needed to make it go. If you're driving an electric vehicle, your car is carrying 100% of the energy and then some to make it go.
Chinese Tesla rival BYD reveals new electric supercar that can dance and jump. Comes
Also
with
bursts into flames constantly.
Comes with
Yeah,
1100 horsepower and is capable of accelerating from 0 to 60 in just 2 seconds.
I mentioned before you joined Sanguine that Teslas are like basically sitting on top of a gigantic hydrogen bomb.
Oh, and they are some of the safer electric cars. When you're talking BYD,
Yeah.
the Chinese ones, those are goddamn terrifying when you look into them. They've had all kinds of shit happen. Like, it seems it is a fluke if your airbags deploy when you get into a front-end collision in a BYD, given the rate where none of the airbags deploy and half the car is smashed.
Mm-hmm.
Also the number of car fires.
The Cybertruck Baja mode jump. All right, that's not a jump. That is, well, not like that other Tesla did. Like, that is not. Let me see if I can.
You know what the problem is with that?
Here.
There's no sound. I mean, okay, there's lots of problems with that jump, but
look how it's a small jump, but look how forward that landing is.
Yeah, saying what I was, the reason why we brought this up is there's somebody in my town that bought one of these things, and I've seen it around, and it is as ridiculous as people think it is.
Oh yeah, they are absolutely ridiculous, but they're ridiculous in a way that I find deeply amusing to myself. Because they look like N64 cars.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the weirdness of that.
I like there's some YouTubers that have dubbed it the low poly car.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. It looks like an N64 car. It looks like old school, you're playing like perfect dark, and the only thing that it's missing is the perfect dark cars, if I remember correctly, were all hover cars. This one isn't hovering. But the rest of it, it's like, yeah, if you slap a pair of wheels on a perfect dark car in one of the missions, that's a Cybertruck.
You know, my other problem I have with it is, you know, Teslas are known for being fast and everything else. You know what would make that jump a whole lot more fun? If it was something that wasn't fast. I want to see somebody jump like a 92 Chevy Lumina like that.
A 1970 Volkswagen Bug.
Someone take out a fucking Model T and be able to get some air.
My brother once wrecked a 1979 Buick Crown Vic into a Geo Metro.
Damn.
The Metro was absolutely demolished. Every molecule was bent in a completely different way, and the Buick was absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
Because the thing is, if you want a car to survive a crash, then you absolutely want an old car. If you want to survive a crash in a car, you absolutely want a new car.
Yeah.
Because the old car, the reason why it's perfectly fine after that crash is because it's all steel. So it takes a hell of a lot to deform the steel. The reason why you survive in the new car is because all the energy used to deform the new car went somewhere other than you.
Well, if you want to balance the two between car survivability and you survivability, like a 1980s Mercedes.
They had a
Because
good crumple.
they do have good crumple zones because they invented them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also really, really just nothing but German steel.
Because, yeah, there's ways of building a car that doesn't need a crumple zone. There was a car from, I want to say, the early 2000s that didn't catch on that was named the Nest. Because what it was an Italian car company. It's a bit dodgy because it's an Italian car company, but bear with me. They built a car that was two nesting eggs in shape. So there's the exterior egg, which was the part that you saw, and then there was a series of cushions between that exterior egg and an interior egg that was the actual compartment that you were in. And what happened was, if you crashed the car, all that cushioning, which was effectively kind of springy material, would take the impact of the inner sled without having to have the crumple zones on the outer portion, because it effectively had internal crumple zones that would then return to their shape. Think a shit ton of springs. But it wouldn't release as violently as springs would, so you didn't have that problem. It was a very interesting car design. Apparently it worked, but no one wanted a car that was shaped like an egg.
Well, that's like one of the biggest problems with like any kind of car or vehicle advancement is like we have an idea of what a car should look like, and if it deviates too much, like nope.
Yeah, we go, nah, I don't like that. And that's part of what pisses me off, because I hate modern cars for one major reason. If you show me a four-door sedan by 6 different manufacturers and you just take off the badges, I do not have the ability to tell those 6 different car manufacturers without their emblems. Because a 4-door sedan looks like a 4-door sedan, looks like a 4-door sedan, looks like a 4-door sedan.
Yeah,
it's funnier. It's funnier back in the 80s when you had different manufacturers that all made the same car, but were all owned by the same company. But depending on which manufacturer made it, they had different proprietary parts. Like you had the Dodge Omni, the Chrysler Omni. You had.
But yeah, it just drives me crazy because I want cars to look different. I don't just want every car built to the same shape. Yeah, the engines will be slightly different. Yeah, the exhaust will be slightly different. But where the fuck are the old school cars where you could tell the difference between a Rambler and a Lincoln and insert all the other car manufacturers of the day and age?
Well, yeah, you used to be able to. A car used to have a personality.
Yep.
And like Volvo, it's a brick. You knew what you were getting. Or
it was an extremely reliable brick.
Or like an Alfa Romero.
Yep.
You if you see an Alfa Romero, you know the person did not buy that in their right mind. But you're also looking at it, it's like, I this was a completely bad decision, and I completely agree with him. I would own one too.
That is one of the most beautiful ways to completely waste money.
Sometimes, like I said, I've seen there's an Alfa Romero Spider, like a '70s model around here, and I see it, and the guy's always trying to sell it, and I know why he's trying to sell it.
Because it's an Alfa Romero, and it is built like an Alfa.
It just does not run.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and every time I see it, I want it.
It's kind of like how I really wish that there was a bunch of companies that all they did was they did frames and chassis. They didn't deal with the gubbins on the inside other than making sure that they fit. But they would just make a bunch of new frames, a bunch of new chassis, make things look interesting. And what you would do is you'd go, okay, I have these internal bits. Please make this a car. And they would take the internal bits and they would go, okay, so you brought us a, I don't know, pick a car, a Mazda. You brought us a Mazda 3. You wanted a different looking car. Here's your new car. It has all the internal workings of a Mazda 3. But it looks like this now.
The problem is that you've got, like, some chassis aren't designed for anything else. Like, they're not exactly modular. Different measurements and so on and so forth. And up to and including the frame and the actual body of the car are designed for a specific loadout in mind. So, like, you take a Mazda 3 and you put all of the internals into...
right there for touch.
Oh, sure. You put all of the internals of like a Mazda 3 and a Dodge Viper. It's not going to go because like a Dodge Viper's frame is entirely too big.
There was a company that called Icon. That the shell was the body was a restored classic, but everything underneath it, all the running gear, chassis, everything else was based off of a modern vehicle. It was all modern.
Yep.
Sure.
But that's what I was saying, Inquisitor, that I wish that there was a company that they would make modular frames so that they would be the company that you could go to and go, okay, I want this to look like that and to actually fucking work.
I mean, the problem with that sort of thing is that would be an incredibly niche business, and they would be able to charge whatever the fuck they want, so they would charge entirely too much.
And I'm perfectly fine with that, because as time goes on, they'll get better and better, and shit will get cheaper.
Yeah. I would say, you know what, I'm looking right now, trying to find a car. Money is no object I would love to have, and it's from the 90s. A Dodge Stealth. Those cars were so fucking cool.
See, if money were no problem for me, the car that I would get is a Morgan Roadster. Because they are fucking beautiful cars. And they're cars that you will never confuse a Morgan Roadster for fucking anything else.
Yeah, there are ads. Shut up.
Johnny, I sent you on Discord. I was trying to find a picture of my car, but out of the thousands of pictures I have, I could only find one convenient, so I sent it. And it's not the best representation of it, but...
Another one that I would love to have is a Suzuki Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a guy that lives down the block. He has one.
Oh.
Really?
My parents had one growing up, and I loved that thing. Almost killed us all, but
You can't find one nowadays under like $13,000. Like even an '80s one.
Mm-hmm.
Like right here. Okay, I'm looking on was it carsforsale.com. 1987 Suzuki Samurai, $12,000.
Damn. Yeah, like I said, I just want cars to look different again.
the weird thing is that with electric cars, there's a lot more flexibility in how you can make them.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a very artistic film photo of my car.
Nice.
And people are like, you daily drive a 1980s Mercedes? Yeah. 2 reasons. It's
Yeah.
cool, and I'm broke.
I say I daily drive a Mini Cooper, and I just recently put $6,400 in it.
Oh,
So, yeah.
So so basically you put a 2009 Nissan Altima in it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I do love the Mini though, but Jesus Christ, the repairs.
Mm-hmm.
They can get expensive. They can.
They're fun as
Well, I
shit
mean-
to drive though because they're just a go-kart.
Well, they're a go-kart with, well, okay. Mine is a Mini Cooper S, so it's got the supercharger in it. I was gonna say, it's a go-kart with some fucking balls.
Yep.
I have to have like a
There's your Dodge Stealth.
Nice.
It's a pace car, but still.
I was gonna say, yeah. I say, I'm looking on, what is this? Edmunds.com. There's a black 91 Dodge Stealth for $30,000.
Mm-hmm.
I want it so bad. Like, don't get me wrong, Dodge Vipers are fucking cool and all, but you know, my aspirations were a little bit more down to earth.
I like Vipers. I like a bunch of other types of cars. But again, for me, I want a car that the look is just entirely fucking unique. And I kind of like the really old school cars where you kind of expect it to be some fucking hotty-toddy aristocrat climbing out of it style look to them, which is why the Morgan Roadster is just fucking beautiful. It's that, like, classic Bond car look, but it's still produced today.
I think it's funny. My roommate's dad had this 1940s Roadster that he built, rebuilt completely from scratch, right?
my
Turned into this amazing hot rod. Huh?
Says, oh my god, this is a real thing.
And he once got pulled over by a cop, and I think he led the cop on until he could like turn off instead of, oh my god.
That's an abomination.
Yeah, it is.
I want
and,
That's a Viper limo.
That looks like a marital aid.
I want to
Yeah.
put a swimming pool in it. I want to fill the interior with water.
The cop pulled him over and he says, I kind of almost wish that I had I could chase you.
Mm-hmm.
And then his dad looked at the cop's car and then at his Roadster and said, no chance.
Nice. But yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen a Morgan Roadster before, if you've seen the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, do you remember Nemo's car?
I've never seen that movie.
Ah, damn. Because in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Nemo has this absolutely fucking beautiful car that is completely ridiculous. It has 6 wheels or some shit like that. But classic Morgan Roadsters look like the car that Nemo was driving.
This car right here, this is the Volvo P1800.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like the look of it. It's interesting.
it is interesting because it's somehow it's sometimes like, for me, the first thing I look at it when I see it, it's like, yeah, something's off.
Yeah,
Something's
and I
out of
think
proportion.
it looks like the grill is a fucking dopey grin to me.
But then you look at it again, and you're like, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It's the perforated bumper. The bumper is split in half.
That's part of it. But again, I think the part that is the weirdest to me is the headlight placement and the way that the grill is shaped. It looks like a dopey, really intense, or dopey grin with a really intense stare.
Well, it looks like Mr. Blobby.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Blobby.
Yeah, Mr. Blobby.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. You know, it's funny you bring him up in cars because there's like a Mr. Blobby music video that has Jeremy Clarkson in it.
Yep.
Sanguine's
I love the.
Sanguine's thinking about Turbo Teen.
I love the fact that there's a guy in the UK who is heralded as a hero, a modern day hero, because Mr. Blobby went to his daughter's birthday party and Mr. Blobby, being Mr. Blobby, ruined it, and he fucking tackles Mr. Blobby and beats the ever-loving fuck out of him.
Nice.
And so now he's touted as a hero in Britain.
I've never heard of Mr. Blobby.
Oh! Gotta look up Mr. Blobby. You have to look up Mr. Blobby.
Mr. Blobby is one of those things. It's kind of like Mr. Nosy Bonk.
Also, never heard of that.
I
You have to look up the Mr. Blobby.
Nosy Bonk. Or Mr. Nosy
You have to
Bonk.
look up the Mr. Blobby music video.
You know, seeing the Mr. Blobby, it really explains why British people are the way they are.
Yeah.
What the
And-
fuck?
I think you found Mr. Blobby.
And Johnny, after you look up Mr. Blobby, look up Mr. Nosy Bonk. You'll recognize him when you see him. I know I've shown you him before. Massive fucking creepy nose on a mask with Boris Johnson's hair.
Oh yeah, you showed me that one.
Yep. That's Mr. Nosy Bonk. It's a fucking strange, strange thing.
Sorry, I was just looking at Twitter, and they have this, this stupid things like, oh, how men have changed over the years, and it's all ridiculous nonsense. But the person made a comment on here, it's like, Germans have to pretend that American soldiers in World War II were all 6'9" man apes so they can cope with the fact that they cut their shit rocked by a bunch of 5.58 malnourished illiterates from flyover states.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cracked me up. But, cars. We went to Cars to Mr. Blobby.
Yeah, because the car was looking at us like Mr. Blobby.
How many times can we say that in one stream?
I'm just happy it wasn't looking at us like Mr. Nosy Bonk, because Mr. Nosy Bonk is nightmare fuel.
I don't know. It's all pretty. Yeah, this is Mr. Blobby.
Yep. Those fucking backups to him just scream Eastern European to me.
And this explains this explains Tony Blair right here.
I mean, this is pretty close to like. Is this supposed to be a parody of was it Robert Palmer? The Addicted to Love guy.
Mm-hmm. Potentially. But to me, when I look at that, it just looks like what I would imagine a children's show from the world of V for Vendetta to look like.
Would you like to touch my monkey? I see because Frosted in the chat. Last time on Sprockets when we dance.
Exactly. It's such a strange visual. Just those very, again, despotic regime, Eastern European looking women. And then Mr. Blobby. And pull up that picture again, because that backdrop was just Apocalypse number 3.
For some reason, you talking about Eastern European. Have you ever seen the Leningrad Cowboys?
I have not. And tell me that that isn't Apocalypse number 3 in the backdrop there. It's just fucking red skies, blasted landscape.
I'm just gonna say I'm not surprised that someone beat the shit out of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Mr. Nosybone.
Mr. Nosybonk. Yep. Like I said, creepy mask, big nose, Boris Johnson's hair.
Is that Greg Davies?
I think so.
Where the fuck is this? There it is.
Mr. Nosybonk warning.
But it's the Leningrad Cowboys being backed up by the Red Army choir singing "Sweet Home Alabama." I just sent that to you, Sanguine.
Okay. That is a hell of a statement.
I would say put it up there, but I'm afraid we'd get copyright struck.
Oh, we probably would.
Actually, I'll tell Quiz when he gets back. But I had
Say again?
I had an opening for the song. I played the acoustic version of May 16th, being that is in fact May 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So for those who watched from the beginning, there is a small interlude of May 16th by Lagwagon.
The choir looks so happy. It's strange.
I'll tell him when he gets back.
Who's back?
There he is.
Hello.
You're supposed to check your Discord.
I'm 10 now. Hang on.
Also,
Oh, I can't.
Oh, because you're on StreamYard.
Because if I do, I'm going to leave StreamYard.
yep.
Is the thing.
Also, the Leningrad Cowboys are what I can only describe as Russia's take on Yankee culture from Japan.
Now, I was...
So,
I was telling Sanguine and Travis that I played May 16th as the intro to the stream. The acoustic version.
Did that not go through? The Lagwagon song?
Yeah.
Okay. Hell yeah.
Yeah, which I would have completely forgotten had I not been on Facebook before I started the stream. And I'm like, oh shit, Lagwagon Day.
You know, I hardly ever check Facebook anymore.
Adam posted it in the Minions.
I am rarely ever on that anymore because most of the people who I'm friends with on there are just politically retarded, and I'm just like, well, I'm out.
Well,
Wait, what are we talking about?
Facebook.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Well, there's somebody that said this, and it applies. Facebook is where you know everybody and hate them, and Twitter is where
You don't know everyone and you hate them?
you don't know anybody, but you like them.
Oh no, I hate everyone on Twitter.
I don't know. There's a lot of people on Twitter that I'm like, oh, I haven't seen this person in a while. I hope they're okay. And there's a lot of people on my Facebook. It's like, oh, they're my cousin, and I'm surprised they're not dead.
I haven't seen them in a while. I hope I never do.
About the only person that spreads any sort of positivity on my timeline on Twitter is fucking Joey Swall. Everything else is just fucking misery. Even in the hobby space.
And Quiz. Quiz and the cats. Or not Quiz,
Quiz.
6.
Oh, 6, yeah.
Well,
I mean, 6 is like a breath of fresh air, but the entire room is filled with, like, mustard gas.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. Frosted, yeah. I spread nothing but joy. Yeah. We have different definitions of joy there.
No. I don't know. There's some people on Twitter that I absolutely love to follow, and then there's some people I'm like, why? Why do I even fucking care what you even think?
See,
I feel like my wit is wasted on Twitter.
with the food porn account, that timeline is almost always extremely pleasant. Because it's a bunch of people that I don't understand that post really nice looking food. And then VTubers that I like.
One of the best things about Twitter is that you can antagonize people from other countries without even leaving your house.
I see, that's the difference, is that, like, other people, or people from other countries, are, like, the only times where Twitter's actually worth it to me. Because Japanese hobbyists for Warhammer are another level. They're so good, and, like, you know, seeing and interacting with them, they're nothing but pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because for some reason Japanese people don't do anything half-assed.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the Japanese cowboy action shooters?
I think so, yeah. I think I got linked to a couple of videos of that, yeah.
It's like, dude, we need to GoFundMe some of these guys to have them come to Texas just to do shit.
Yeah, I'm sure they have the time of their life.
Like I said, the group that you sent me, that one video of the Leningrad Cowboys, all I can say is they look like Russians that decided that they wanted to emulate Japanese Yankees, which looked at America and said, we want to emulate them. It is this glorious, weird blending of cultures.
All I gotta say is, there's that one of my favorite memes is the be the American the Japanese think you are.
Yep.
There's a there's a camera guy on eBay, and I order frequently from, too frequently, and based out of Japan, and the reason why, and I love getting his stuff because he's always got like notes and stuff in there. He's like putting in there like origami frogs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember what it was. I remember reading a story from the internet where someone was into a very specific niche hobby, and they were trying to find something for the longest fucking time. They finally found it. They placed an order. Turns out it was some dude in Japan that was also a ridiculous hobbyist in the same interest. And they ended up connecting, and when the guy sent the package that he had ordered, he had also stuffed in like a bunch of different types of Japanese tea and notes and shit like that for the person to enjoy. I think it was a record of some sort that they were looking for, or part of a record machine that they were looking for.
All I gotta say is one of the things that I definitely
And we lost him.
And we'll never know what he definitely...
But yeah, when in cameras, in camera gear, buying that stuff used online, I always try. The Japanese sellers are always my favorite.
Yep. As you were saying, Quiz?
I fucking hate StreamYard on a phone. One of the things I desperately do want to do at some point, maybe in the next couple of years, after I save up some cash, is I want to organize a trip where I go to Tokyo, and I want to go to the battle bunker in Akihabara.
Mm-hmm.
And play some games there. That would be so fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I don't play Dark Angels, so it's like I get nothing out of it, but still.
Mm-hmm.
As much as it would excruciatingly irritate me, I would like to see Shibuya.
Shibuya, okay.
Yeah, just because of the intersection.
Mm-hmm.
When Terry had sold me on the idea of 428 Shibuya Scramble as the game, and so I'm like, well, I'll look up some gameplay for it. And that night, my mother-in-law was visiting, and she was setting up in the spare room, and I turn on YouTube on the PlayStation, and I'm just like, all right, let's at least see what the gameplay looks like, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm getting into. Mm-hmm. And I clicked on it on the first link that was there, and it's like a live stream of the Shibuya crosswalk, and no audio, just light traffic sounds and traffic, like just people crossing. And I'm like, that would drive me absolutely bonkers, because like, unless it's like a concert, I can't stand being around that many people. So
yeah, it's the way you can really kind of describe the Shibuya intersection is it's like Times Square, only like 5 times more condensed.
Yeah,
and also a lot more orderly in the weirdest way.
Well, more orderly, cleaner, because it's not in fucking New York.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's absolute madness while the crosswalks are active, and then it's just like it's orderly when the traffic's going, and then when the traffic stops, it's just like an absolute madhouse, and then just clears out, and then it just starts back again. And yeah, I would definitely like to go
really
see that.
There's some really good shopping malls in Shibuya, that have amazing food.
Mm-hmm.
And like you'll get like a full fucking dinner with like a full like 6-course dinner for like $2. It's retarded how like monetarily efficient eating out in Japan is.
Yeah, it's one of those strange things of a lot of food in Japan, hell of a lot cheaper. Certain food in Japan, oh good God.
I'm not going to talk about Kobe beef.
Oh yeah.
Or fucking fruit.
That was what I was going to say. Because
weird things, like getting strawberries is going to spend you like $500.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was going to bring up, because Kobe beef is expensive everywhere, and it's actually cheaper in Japan than it is anywhere else, which makes sense.
But it's still fucking expensive.
Oh yeah, it's still more expensive than normal beef, but it's much more reasonably priced. You can get Kobe beef in Japan and not spend a fortune. If you tried to get, what is it, the Pink Lady Strawberry?
Yeah.
It's something like, what is it, $500 something for a single Pink Lady Strawberry? Not for a bushel of Pink Lady strawberries. Or
yeah, it's just one.
a
There are some watermelons grown in Japan that are worth $27,000.
Yep.
God damn.
Because what
For a watermelon. I don't even like watermelon.
and the thing is that they grade all of their fruit based on how pretty it is as well. So yeah, if you're going for the prettiest fruit that is also bred for the best flavor, yeah, you're spending an obscene amount of money. And it goes down to the most ridiculous level of detail. Like, one of the things is grading cantaloupe. If I remember correctly, the perfect grade of cantaloupe is when every... You know how cantaloupe has those, like, lines, those raised, roughened lines?
Yeah.
On the surface of it? In order to get the perfect grade of cantaloupe, none of those lines can terminate before touching another line. So they will inspect the entire fucking cantaloupe to see if any of the lines terminate between lines rather than touching lines.
And a cantaloupe isn't even the most expensive melon. It's a muskmelon that's even more expensive.
Yep.
And cherries are the huge one in Japan.
Yeah.
Cantaloupe's disgusting.
Agreed.
It is. There's some of these fruit. It's all like I've had this fruit in other places, and I was like, I can't see spending like $250 for half of a watermelon.
Yep. But it is very flavorful if you ever get one of those. And it's to the point where it used to be a thing in the US that a rather opulent Christmas gift was to give someone a bunch of oranges. That was a thing in the US for a while. Then we got to the point where you can get oranges year-round, and it stopped being a thing. Japan has, if you're getting high-grade fruit as a gift, that person really fucking likes you.
Actually, our stockings, when I was a kid, used to have fruit in them.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it used to be a common thing in the United States. And then in, like, I want to say it started falling out in the mid-'80s and was mostly out by the '90s. And now...
Yeah, apparently for fruit in Tokyo, you cannot find them reasonably priced anywhere. And that's not even talking about the 100,000 yen. The 100,000 yen melons that are 100,000 yen, by the way, is $641.
Yep.
Yeah, like regular like train stations and stuff like that will have fruits of all kind, but they're all at least 4 or 5 times what they're originally cost here in the States. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the thing is that you have different grades. Like I said, one of the grades is import, and that's the cheapest. You can get import fruit for less than you can get the local grown fruit, because Japan has very little farmland compared to population size. So the really expensive stuff is the natively produced fruit. And that's also where they go the most overboard, because again, what they do is rather than going for quantity, they go for, if you want the most perfect strawberry, you have to go to Japan and get a Japanese high-grade strawberry. There's no way to get a more perfect strawberry than a Japanese.
I think that's bullshit. It's bullshit. There's no like better strawberry than any other strawberry. It's a strawberry.
Oh no!
You can't convince me otherwise.
If you're going for appearance, there's criteria that you can use to grade strawberries, and you can get really high quality strawberries in a bunch of other places. But if you want the most consistent high quality strawberries, you go and you buy one of the high quality strawberry boxes, where every single strawberry in that box will be this extremely narrow margin of sizes, and the seeds will all be this density on the outside and shit like that. Like I said, it's ridiculous amount of effort goes into grading the fruit. And then also they breed them for the sugar content and all of that, which they have their breeding standards for that.
I still don't buy that it's in any way better than anything else. It's just it's rarer in Japan because there's so much less farmland in Japan. There's so little area for them to grow things, and that's fine. But I mean, like, you know, the trying to make it gourmet is just don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Come on.
Yeah,
I'd say it's one of those things that you have to give it a go to see if you can tell the difference or not.
and to jump back to the Shibuya thing, we were watching the intersection on a live stream, and we sat there. I sat there watching it for like maybe 5 minutes, and then my mother-in-law came in. She's like, "What you watching?" I'm like, "An intersection." And she's like, "Really?" And so she watched, and so we're just sitting there, just staring at the TV screen of this intersection where it's just absolute madness, and then, you know,
Serenity
it's clear,
and then madness.
and then it's like ebb and flows, and then my wife comes in and she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're just like watching an intersection. Like, she's like, "It's so boring, but I can't look away." Like,
I mean, there was I was reading the chat, and Frosted Glass is like after Japan needed something to focus their craziness on after demilitarizing, which is weird because, you know, Germany had to do the same thing, but why did both of them have to land on also create porn?
Yeah. Well, all the Axis powers create fucked up porn now. There's something about having lost the Second World War that just made you kinky bastards.
We make really cool cars and really, really weird porn.
Yeah.
All Italians do is they just breed other Italians, which is disgusting.
At least they aren't doing what the French do.
Make French people.
Exactly. Italians are bad, but the French are the French.
I'm just gonna come right out and say it's maybe a hot take or whatnot, but I don't care. Italian people are worse than French people.
Nah. No way.
Italians are way worse. Way worse.
Have you been near French people?
As a red-blooded Irishman, I can tell you, Italians are disgusting.
I don't... Make that a poll. Which is worse, Italians
like I
or
said,
French?
The Italians are bad, the French are worse.
Well, if it wasn't just Quiz or Frosted in the chat, I would.
Frosted, who's worse,
Oh, there's
Italians or French?
How's it going, Cynic? If you're still there.
You all know the truth is the French.
I mean...
It's the Italians.
If you,
He's Team Italian.
I'm going to have to go with Italian. I mean, when again, I'm on default to judging on cars, and I'd rather have a Alfa Romero or a Fiat than a Renault or a Citroen. I mean,
I'd rather have one that works.
The French love their car. French love snails so much they eat them, and then they made a car that looks like one.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, both are bad. French are worse.
My great grandpa went to Italy, but from what I've heard, he didn't have a good experience there.
I was watching.
Nice.
Shocking.
I was watching the Your Mom's House podcast, and it was Tom Segura and his wife, and he was talking about his dad when he started making it as a comedian. He goes, "Yeah, I'll take you anywhere you want to go," and he goes, "No." It's like, "Yeah, I'll take you to Italy." No, I don't want to go there. I've already been there. I'm good. Like, just the thought is like, you can go anywhere. Your son's willing to take you pretty much anywhere you want to go. It's just like, oh, let's go down the block. It's fine. Like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, one of the trips that I really want to take is I want to go to Ireland and backpack.
Ireland's fantastic. It's just a shame that they're really fucking up shit with their laws.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It would be great if it wasn't for those Irish.
No, the Irish are great. It's the Irish.
My mother's a saint.
It's the Irish government that isn't.
Well, you can say that about every country on Earth.
That's
No.
true.
It was like, oh, that place would be great if the government wasn't fucking it up. And
No,
it would be every one
the
of
French still exist.
yeah, government ain't got nothing to do with that.
them. The Germans tried twice, and
Yeah, the Germans tried twice. Actually, they tried 3 times.
oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
And,
They won that one though.
well, they functionally won 2 out of 3. And were only defeated in 2 out of 3 by external forces getting involved.
To be fair, though, come on, French freedom fighters in World War I and II were fucking badasses.
Oh yeah, they were.
Well, honestly,
There weren't enough of them when it came to the French.
honestly,
Sure.
the problem with the French in both world wars was never with, frontline soldiers or anything like that. It was, they always have bad leadership.
Oh yeah.
Well, the main issue with World War II French was they during World War I, the French.
Well, in two, it was the fact that they overcommitted to a defensive tactic that the Germans completely subverted.
And towards pacifism, because they were trying
and pacifism, yeah,
to not be in any war so desperately they lost their entire fucking country. Because they didn't want to prepare for war, they didn't want to be in a war, and they did everything, including capitulate, in order to avoid being in a war.
Well, the thing is like the French army is always successful if it's not led by French people.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a couple of minor exceptions. I mean, Napoleon was a fairly successful general, but Charlemagne
was a Corsican.
Yeah, the argument.
Is he Corsican? All right.
The Napoleon was a Corsican, and
Okay.
Charlemagne was a Frank before France, so he was Frankish but not French.
Well, I thought the Franks were French.
The Franks then became the French, but he
Yeah.
was Frankish before they became the French. It's kind of like how the Gauls, if you trace down the lineage of the Gauls became the French.
Well,
But saying that the Gauls were French is very strange.
I don't think it is. It's just like saying Bavarians are German.
See, the difference that I see with that is Bavarians are just people that are from Bavaria, which is a region. So saying that the people from the Gallic region are French, sure. Saying that the Gauls were French, no.
well,
The seagulls are French. That explains a lot.
how about de Gaulle? Yeah, well, I almost said, well, de Gaulle led the French, and I'm like, yeah, really. If he crossed Eisenhower or Churchill, he would have been gone. We all know who ran that show.
Plus, he was an absolute bastard after the war.
He was an absolute bastard during the war. I mean,
Yeah, but he dialed it up after.
And the thing that I was referring to was the Maginot Line.
Yes.
They overcommitted to the Maginot Line, and Germany just completely subverted it and fucked up France.
well,
But when it came to the interwar period, the bit that I was talking about, the French really went hard in everyone in World War II was equally brave. There was nothing special about how the French fought during World War II. Everyone was doing everything for their country, and everyone was brave and heroic in their own right, when no, fuck that.
No. Yeah, no, there's a lot of heavy brass in France that should never have been in positions of power. And for that matter, a lot of heavy brass in fucking England who never should have been in power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, England just had too long between wars. That
Well, they had an aristocracy of officers, and
Yeah,
they nearly fucked up their entire European theater in that regard because of it.
which is the result of the too long between consistent wars, because you have a tendency towards ossification and a greater divide between your general grunts and your officers or in times of peace than you do in times of war. Because in times of war, it's really the best officers end up rising as the war goes on. Whereas during times of peace, it's the person who can get to know the right people and be able to rub elbows the right way, that those are the people that end up winning out. Those are the people that end up getting the promotions to the higher offices. That's what I was getting at with that. It's when you have too long of peace, you end up with this very split and set in their ways command staff.
Well, I say we all know why a lot of the British officers were as bad as they were, is because they created like a boys club and completely disregarded the greater good of the country for their little retarded boys club.
Yeah, which is what I was saying. It becomes a game of...
I don't think it's necessarily because of a period of peace. I mean, 1917 to 1942. Well, no, 1942 is when we got involved, so it was long before that. So it's like...
I wasn't talking about the interwar period as being the main one where it was too long of peace. I'm saying that prior to World War I, there was this decently long period of peace that England experienced. Then they ended up with the division between the officers and the enlisted. World War I did some to overturn that, but not enough. World War II did a lot more to overturn that, which is why you had officers that were hated by all the other officers getting higher positions during World War II because they were fucking effective.
Well, no, okay. The one that immediately comes to mind for officers in World War II getting snubbed even though they were geniuses is, I just got to bring him up, Percy Hobart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy that actually created the Blitzkrieg?
Yep.
You know, the Nazis just copied fucking the UK's homework.
Yeah, it was...
You know that, right?
Yeah, it was... Well, technically it was a second-hand copy because it was... He started the work on it, came up with most of it. Then, I believe it was it Patton or one of the other tank commanders from the U.S. went, that's a really fucking good idea. They expanded on it, and then the Germans took the expansion and went, so this is our new strategy.
I don't know about you guys, but I am starting to fade a bit. So I am going to share. I'm going to share this GIF as a response to the perfect example of how the French react.
Yep. Nice.
I surrender.
But with that, the zoo is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night, all.
Take care, everyone.
All right.